Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming along tonight. I know it's not always easy to come after hours, so I truly appreciate that, your effort. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Firoz. I'm an account manager for Victoria and Tasmania. So I look after Tesla Energy, Victoria and Tasmanian region. I have got my colleague, Harry is here. He look after distribution network, and he's also helping us in onboarding. We have got Brendan here. He is our technical guy, so he does all that technical training across Australia. Harry will be presenting today the first session, so mainly he will be talking more about Tesla Powerwall 3 and expansion pack. I would like to introduce Lightning Energy team here. Kale and Blake, they will present second part of the session, which is more about battery rebate and how you can maximize. Battery rebate is of course once off, so how you can maximize, how can you utilize it in a better way or a smart way. So they will of course teach you about that. Few things I want to, before I hand over to Harry, I really want to tell some things about some achievement we have done in recent time. Couple of months ago, we have achieved one big milestone, 10 years anniversary of Tesla Energy. So it is again a big thing when we talk about 10 years of warranty. We have already proved ourselves in 10 years in the market. And we have also achieved manufactured 1 million Powerwall 3. So that is again big achievement for us. Now, I would like to ask Harry to come and explain more about Powerwall 3. So this is our product. We also introduced a new product, which is Powerwall 3 expansion, which is also available for you guys to use. So let's hand over to Harry now. Thank you.
So thank you everyone for joining us today. I know it's quite difficult to find some time in the afternoon, so really appreciate you coming in on a wet day as well. So today we're going to talk about Powerwall 3, which is our new product on the market. We launched it in Australia last year. As Fios mentioned, in the last 10 years of Tesla Energy, we actually was able to build up to 1 million Powerwalls globally and deployed over 850,000 units installed globally as well. So we know what we're doing, but we also accumulated all the knowledge from all the feedbacks from our customers, installers, and put that into the design of the Powerwall 3. So we just want to go through some advantages, why we want to do it, things like that, and hopefully you'll be interested. Before I start getting into the details though, we always want to quickly mention our mission for Tesla, which is never really changed when we started the company, which is always to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy for the world. So this has always been guiding our decision making throughout the years that we build our products, deployment, future building. We always want to make sure that the product is designed so that we can actually achieve our goals and not just to earn a quick buck. Even though we have built the biggest virtual power plant, the biggest mega pack sort of farm, that's just sort of achievements along the way to reach our eventual goal. So we just want to quickly look at the big picture of global energy usage. So what we've learned is that the global usage is for all energy, not just electricity, is about 165 petawatt hours. When I look at the number up, when I started counting zeros of what petawatt is, I started to get dizzy. It's like a long number. So it's a huge energy consumption in the world. And at the moment, it's only, we are doing a transition really well. We're doing 20% of renewable energy, but we've got a long way to go. So at the front of it, it looks pretty challenging, right? It's like 80% of transition, how we're going to do it. But we want to remind everyone that the 80% over here, a lot of them are wasted energy. So, think about your combustion engine cars, right? Your energy, the petrol goes into it, a lot of the energy is wasted. Either it's heat, noise, or whatever else. The only energy that was transferred from the petrol to moving your car is less than 30%. But if we jump into the renewable genre, I will call it, or the new generation of technology, you'll become more efficient. And turns out, you only need to achieve 50% of the energy to be able to sustain the current energy use in the world. So we're actually almost halfway there. And the residential part of the sustainable energy is only 30%. So this is where we're focused on. This is how we want to design a Powerwall. So we want to focus on energy, residential front distributed sustainable energy. So this is what our envisioned perfect sustainable house looks like. You start with an electric vehicle. So I'll stop here. Who has an EV here? Yeah, pretty good. Mostly Tesla, I assume. If not, please get a Tesla next time. I won't force you on this one for now, but next one, please. And who has a wall connector at home? Okay, most people, yeah. Who has an EV but doesn't have installed charger yet, only using mobile? Just a couple. Okay, pretty good. You guys doing the right thing. But I understand sometimes you can never always install, so that's not a problem. But looks pretty great. So you start with a sustainable transport with EV and the charger at home, but also you want to consider where the energy is coming from, right? So you start with solar, 100% renewable energy on top of your roof. But how are you going to use that energy is where the Powerwall comes in. So you can never really control when the energy is generated, but with the battery, with the Powerwall, you can control. You can start to control that now. You can use your solar energy at any time you want, and more importantly, when you need it the most. And then the grid becomes a backup power sometimes. And then if you use your Powerwall to participate in grid applications such as virtual power plant, you can make the grid cleaner as well. So overall, with a distributed network like this, you can start to make a dent in the sustainable energy transition without even thinking about the big picture. We're thinking about that with the Megapack team, but we're not going to talk about it. All right, so what do we need? How are we going to have a product that's going to fit most people's home and provide enough feature? So we need more power, more performance, so that even charging your EV or your high electrical appliances is going to be powerful enough, but also it's easy to install and expand, so that for installers, they can put it everywhere. You can reduce installation time, but for you guys, it's reducing installation cost, and so that we can deploy this far easier and far wider to everyone. Also, durability. One of the things that you want your battery to do when you're backing up the house is that it's gonna back up when you need it. So it needs to be durable, right? So it's gonna be there when you need it the most. And overall, it adds up to the value, but overall, the cost shouldn't, the value shouldn't come at an extreme cost, and that we've been working on that as well. So we'll go into detail of each of those, but those are our 4 pillars of our Powerwall. That's how we designed it from the ground up. You can see actually it looked quite different than the Powerwall 2. I don't know if anybody has a Powerwall 2 or seen one before. I've got a couple. I'm not jealous at all. It's fine. I'm not crying. Yeah, so we learned from all our history to build this Powerwall for the modern era. So it has the best performance in class. It has a built-in inverter. You can couple with 20 kilowatts of solar and 10 kilowatts of AC output. Scalable installation. We learn from our installers. You can ask our lighting team if you want. They've been installing Powerwalls for a while. They know that it's a lot easier compared to the Powerwall 2 to install. It's durable. Aluminum cast, IP67 rating, and then it all adds to the value of the Powerwall. So we'll go into it a little bit with all the details. We start looking at the generations of Powerwall, right? Powerwall 1, we started in 2015, so we've been doing that for 10 years. Who's ever seen a Powerwall 1 in real life? Probably 1, 2, all the lighting teams, yes, but 3, a few more. Yeah, so if you see one, you'll know that it actually is quite difficult to install because it was only a box for a battery, but you need extra boxes for like inverter and then solar inverter and extra stuff to piece it together. So that's our first generation, and we learned from it. And then with the second generation, we're putting a built-in battery inverter, and it can couple with any solar. And at the time, it's our halo product in the field. Nobody's doing anything like this. We were able to sell and install hundreds and thousands of Powerwall 2s globally. And then we've learned from it. We started to learn what the market is doing, and then we built a Powerwall 3, put it into an integrated solar inverter, and make it installation very easy as well. So you can see it's a DC couple system, meaning your solar panels can directly connect to the Powerwall 3 without a solar inverter. You'll be saving up to thousands of dollars of a hardware unit, and it makes the installation easier and quicker. So we've thought about that from the beginning. So that's how we designed it. So that's what it looks like in your home in a very simplified way. So the other part of the high performance is that it has a 10 kilowatts of AC output, which is double of a Powerwall 2. So when I first got my Powerwall 2, I was like, great, perfect, it looks good. I can run the home. But then I started to realize, oh, if I have my aircon on, or if I want to charge my EV or whatever, the 5 kilowatts sometimes is not enough. And then what we've learned is that for the majority of homes, for single phase homes, 10 kilowatt is a perfect number to back up your whole home. So we upgraded the inverter to 10 kilowatt. So even with one unit, you have power to back up your home. And for most people who has an EV charger, you know that single phase homes, even when you're charging your EV, it's about 7 kilowatts. You still have a little bit of headroom for the rest of your home. Also, the benefit of DC coupling is that you can charge your battery at 5 kilowatt using DC, which means you can charge your battery and provide 10 kilowatts of power to your home at the same time. So that's pretty key here. That's a key difference between that and the Powerwall 2. So you're getting the most out of your solar. For anyone who has solar, you've used it before, then you sometimes see that there's a bit of a cap at the top during a really sunny day. Either you're limited to your export or whatever, and then you're feeling like you're losing some certain value when those generation is sort of missed. But the Powerwall will be able to allow you to capture that with the Powerwall 3. All right, and then we started to see the market transferring into an electrified home, which is really great. So people are getting higher power appliances, mostly aircon, heat pump, hot water, electric stove, those type of things. And EV, of course, is the biggest one. And then we started to see all of the usage, not just high power, but also kilowatt hours of usage increasing as well. So we want to have a single Powerwall 3 that can power large appliances in one go. With the high power, you actually can do more things as well. So those are actually existing features on the Powerwall 2, but because you have double the power, you'll be able to do more of it and then get the most out of the benefit. Virtual power plant, has anyone heard of it? Few, okay, cool. So just want to go through it a little bit. So what virtual power plant is that if you have a solar and battery at home, you can think of yourself as a small power plant, right? You're generating and storing your own energy and you're using it at the same time. So that's really great for you, but what about the entire network? If you can virtually couple all the battery systems in a network, to be able to balance out the grid when there's too much excess solar or there's too much demand, maybe in the peak afternoon hours around like 5 or 6 o'clock. You can support the grid. The grid is unlikely to go to a blackout, and then you can also earn money from it as well. So that's why it's called virtual power plant. So if you join your battery into it, which I did, they give you a joining fee already, a few $100, but also whenever they use your battery, so they drain the battery to support the grid during peak hours, you get paid extra as well. So that helps with your return of investment and also helps stabilizing the grid. It's a social benefit. Also, backup protection. Obviously, batteries will back up your home during a blackout, but we're also putting some smart features where if we know a storm is coming, we actually proactively, that's the word I'm looking for, proactively start to charge your battery to make sure that you have enough battery to last the potential blackout that's coming. So it has been triggered on mine batteries before, and yes, the blackout happened maybe a couple hours later, the blackout's gone, but if the blackout lasts days, similar to what has happened in, was it Spain and France a couple months ago in Europe? Anybody remember that? I think that lasted like a couple of weeks, right? So if you have that, and then if you have preemptively charged your battery, you can last a lot longer during the blackout. And if you couple that with solar, you can potentially last indefinitely. Also, charging on solar is one of our sort of new features. For those who has a Tesla vehicle, that's going to be great, because if you have your Tesla car and a Tesla battery, you will be able to read and react to your dynamic sort of solar generation. So your solar generation, you will provide to your home usage first, and then whatever extra goes to your battery and goes to the grid, right? But with that feature, the extra part that's supposed to go to the grid goes to your car instead. So it will dynamically change the charge rate to match your solar generation, so that you're charging your car on 100% of solar energy, so 100% green. And also you're getting the most out of your solar system without disrupting your home usage. So that's actually quite smart. So you are required to have a Tesla vehicle and a battery to do it. It's a new feature, so it's quite limited in some circumstances, but once we start to run it off with software updates, which is the best thing that, we're really good at doing updates, it will become, even, more and more powerful. And lastly, with the retail tariff, I usually call this time of use. I actually had a customer was just asking me about that question. I don't think I can see. Oh, over here, this gentleman. So he actually has a new battery installed, and we're just talking about this. So what this does is that if you have a really good rate plan for like a peak off-peak rate, and your off-peak rate is pretty cheap, you can enter your rate in the system, and then just turn on the time of use mode. It will intelligently use AI to read your last 7 days usage, and also use the forecast of next day to try to figure out what's the best way for the battery to protect you from using peak rate from the grid. So you'll charge from off-peak, and it will balance and try to charge from solar as well. And during your peak rate, you'll try to use the battery almost all the time if you can. And so you will save you a lot of money. I've been using that for myself for a couple of years now. I can sort of reduce my battery, sort of my monthly electricity cost, and it's just myself, from anywhere between $250 to down to like $30 to $40, even just using that feature. Because in Melbourne, the solar generation isn't that great. So yeah, it's actually building with a smart feature, and not everyone has this. And we just want to celebrate and pre-announce our Powerwall 3 expansion. So this is not quite ready yet. It's almost here. We're just waiting for the government's approval, and we're hoping to start, delivering and start installing it next month. Just want to give you a quick peek of what it is and how this can help you as well. So a Powerwall 3 expansion is the same battery unit in the main Powerwall 3, but without all the other electronics. So if you're thinking about expanding or having a bigger system without adding all the extra electronics you don't need, that is the perfect system for you to have. So you'll need a lead Powerwall 3, and then you will just require one extra cable to connect to the DC expansion, and that's done. You don't need to have that wired to your main board. You don't have to worry about anything extra. So one cable, install it. You can stack it behind the main Powerwall 3 if you want, or you can mount it on the wall. You have options as well. So because it doesn't have the electronics in it, it's a cheaper unit to buy. And because it's such easy installation, it's really cheap to install as well. It doesn't require the additional gateway that you already have with the Powerwall 3, so it's just one extra unit. So that allows you to actually take advantage of the new government rebate that's announced 1st of July really, really well. So the government rebate is based on the storage of the battery, and the expansion has the exact same storage as the main unit, but because you're buying it cheaper, you're still getting the same amount of rebate. So that's actually quite good. We've done the calculation. If you do the main Powerwall 3 and the expansion with the rebate, it's about the same price as when you get a Powerwall 3 without the rebate. So you basically double it for free, right? So it's pretty amazing. And now you can have a bigger setup if you want to. So normally we can set up with 4 Powerwall 3s. This is what you can do now, right? Once we launch the Powerwall 3 expansion, you can add 3 more expansions to the leader Powerwall 3. So you can have 4 Powerwall 3s and 3 expansions.
You can only get the government rebate once. So if I buy that now and get the government rebate, I can't then get the extension of government rebate.
You are correct. You are correct. So you need to wait for this to be launched, hopefully next month if everything goes well, and then install them all in one go.
So instead of buying, let's say I've got a quote for a 13.5, instead of buying a 27, I'd be better off to get one of them plus an expansion.
That's what I would say majority of people should do. There are instances where it will be beneficial to get two Powerwall 3s instead. For example, there's, you may want to have higher power inverters to power your home if you have, the need to go over 10 kilowatts, right? And then if you need to think about redundancies as well, so that's another thing to think about. Or if you have a 3-phase home, there's certain different things. Yeah. So Powerwall 3 is a single-phase product, right? So it will back up one phase in a blackout situation. But what the gateway does is that it will connect to all 3 phases and it does net metering. So normally you will perform as if it's on the 3-phase. It's only in a blackout, it's only backing up your essential phase, like your lights, your fridge, your TV, stuff like that. I need to back up, right?
Mm-hmm. So if you've got 2 phases, can you do one of them plus the other one to a phase to each?
So it doesn't do phase syncing. That's what you're referring to. If you want to back up both phases at a time or any 3-phase situation, it doesn't do that. My question to you then is, do you need to back up all 3 phases or both phases? Like, what type of appliances do you want to run? Or do you want to maybe have your battery last during a blackout?
I want to run a Tesla car and a run a dryer.
In a blackout?
Or just in general. But
Well, in general, it's fine, but in a blackout, you probably don't want to run that, right?
is it going to be more economical to get a 27 with the government grant or to get that with the government grant plus a backup? Plus a
You always want to get a government grant. You always want to get a government grant in one go. So if you want to wait until next month, get this and the expansion together, that could be very economical.
and the government will do both together.
Yes, as long as you install once.
Yep.
Yes, that's correct. So there is a chance that you may want to wait a little bit, but it's coming out very quick. So like I said, it's a sort of like a pre-launch for us. So don't tell anyone, yeah? Yep.
The use case you mentioned, if someone wants a like 20 kilowatt, have 2 Tesla Powerwalls, and then the expansion, is that compatible? Like, will that work?
Powerwall 3 or Powerwall 2?
Powerwall 3. So if I had 2 10 kilowatt Powerwall 3s, and then once to expand it.
Yes. So only the leader Powerwall 3 can install expansion right now. So yes, so your leader expansion can add up to 3. Sorry, leader Powerwall 3 can add up to 3 expansions. So you can do 2 Powerwall 3 right now, and then later on add up to 3 expansions. So you can do 2 by 3. Yes. So you can have 5 batteries altogether. Exactly. So basically what the slide says here is that the maximum system you can have is actually 94.5 kilowatt hours, which is 4 Powerwall 3s plus 3 expansion. So each battery is 13.5 kilowatt hour, right? So that's the biggest system you can get from Tesla. You can do it in stages if you don't mind the battery rebate or if you already claimed it. But yeah, you can do that. It's best to do them in one go though. What we realize is that 1 Powerwall 3 plus 1 expansion usually satisfies 90% or 95% of most people's needs. All right, cool. So I'm just gonna quickly maybe leave the questions to the end and I'll just quickly go through the slide. Don't wanna eat up too much time. So we launched the Powerwall 3 with durability in mind. So we actually have a launch party in Sydney last year with the Powerwall 3 in the tank. So that's actually a real photo, right? It's not photoshopped. So we have a IP67 rating up to 2 feet or 61 centimeters. So you will know that in a flood situation, this will still work for you in a pinch. We've also building other durabilities features. For example, it has better performance throughout the entire ambient temperature range from -20 to +50. So you'll know that if you install this on an outdoor scenario, it will still work for you. And if the ambient temperature goes over 50, it will just shut down, right? And it will protect itself so that it doesn't get on fire. And also we have, it's a fan-cooled system. Because of the lithium iron phosphate, the new generation battery technology, it's a lot safer, it's a lot cooler. So we build it with simplified cooling system, but with a casted aluminium with both the form and function built in mind. So the aluminium cast on the side, if you can see here, is both the housing of the battery, but also it has the heat sink built into it as well. So it'll cool really efficiently. And also it has a heat mode. So anyone that has driven a Tesla and drive to a supercharger before, you probably have used your battery. What's the word I'm looking for? Preconditioning. That's the one. Preconditioning. So you will basically have preconditioning in the battery as well. If you live in Mount Buller and get a Powerwall, it will try to predict when the sun is coming up. You will use a little bit of energy to heat itself up so that you can charge at a peak charge rate. So it's pretty smart. You can start to see the integration between vehicle and battery as well. So it's where we learn from each other. And now it's a quick video about manufacturing. Okay, sorry, forgot about the video, but I'll just quickly talk over it. So we have sort of installed about 700,000 batteries throughout the maybe 9 years of Tesla Energy, but the goal is with a new manufacturing line, we're gonna do the same amount in a year. So that's how we scale up our manufacturing and deployment. So that's how we can accelerate the transition, right? So how quick is that speed? This video is about a minute long. We can build one, once it's fully up to speed, we can build one in 25 seconds. So we've probably built 2 just now. So yeah, you can, so don't worry about supply restraint. We have the capacity now to install them. Pretty amazing, yeah? And now we're just gonna quickly talk about the app. So this is where you put in all the information, monitor everything. If you have your vehicle, it's actually the same app. You don't have to go anywhere else. So basically, the Tesla app, you start with your homepage. You can see the live information about what's being generated, what is being used, what's going into the Powerwall or coming from the Powerwall, or what's coming from the grid or going to the grid. And if you click on energy, it will show you the graph for the day or the month or the year. It will give you a lot of breakdown if you dive into it to see how much generation is being used, how much generation is being exported, things like that. Also, we've got an impact card. It'll basically show you a percentage of how much a sustainable impact you're making to your home. The higher the percentage, the more renewable you're being, basically. And also, you can set up your reserve and also set up your time of use. If you want to put 20% on reserve, if you go into a blackout, you always have 20% of battery ready for you. Yeah, we talked about protection. We'll probably skip that one. But you can even manually trigger a storm watch event if you want to. So if you think the blackout is coming or you get a notification that someone's working on the road, you can preemptively charge it so that you're not out of power. And then, charge on solar, we mentioned it, but you can see that there's 2 sort of toggles over there. One on the left is for you to charge from any source, so you have enough for the car. And the other one on the right is for you to charge the car only on solar. So it gives you some level of control. It's pretty good. Yeah, 49 is pretty typical, but you can play around with it. It's quite nice. So altogether, having all those features added together, that already gives you value. But also, we are aware of how expensive batteries in general, and we're pricing the battery at a very particularly competitive price. Lightning team is going to go into details a little bit more, but just a quick announcement, we actually reduced our price last Friday for Powerwall 3 and the DC expansion. So normally for other OEMs, if they see rebates coming, what do? They increase the price, right? They want to get the most out of the margin, all that. No, we decrease price. We want to deploy this for everyone. We are serious about our mission. So, just a bit of a summary. backup protection, self-powered, save on energy bills using AI and time of use, and then you can monitor everything on your app in one go. You get notifications when there's blackouts, and then you can change all the settings, get the most out of your battery. I think most people have the charger, so I'm gonna skip the charger part, but it's pretty cool actually.
I didn't talk about it because I just bought one.
Oh, nice, cool.
I haven't had it installed yet.
Yeah, no worries. What car do you have?
Well, no, I've ordered my car.
Yeah, cool.
Next month.
Well, the benefit of this is, first of all, it's one SKU, but if you have single phase or three phase, doesn't really matter. One SKU can install in all houses, which is pretty cool. Secondly, you can still have that activated in your app as well. You can register it, and you can either use your charger or your car. You can do many different things. You can use the charger to schedule charge time. You can lock it only to your vehicle if you want to. If you want to put it in a public place, like with a pedestal on your driveway, for example, no other people can plug in and just charge from your home. You can lock it if you want.
So I can schedule the charge for midnight at 6 a.m. Yeah.
If you want to, yeah, absolutely. I do that. Yeah, so just use off-peak. And it can charge any EV in Australia as long as it's made in the last, 5 years. So it's all standard Type 2 port. So I still hope that you bought a Tesla, right? Yeah, cool. So, yeah. So I'm not going to mention the other cars. But yeah, so it's quite economical. It's actually surprisingly, compared to other chargers, the more affordable option in the market. It's easy to set up, easy to buy. It's just simple, right? And then going to save you money as well. Questions?
My son's a second-year apprentice. He tells me he's putting it in for me. So.
Oh yeah. As long as it's properly licensed, we'll warranty it.
Second-year apprentice.
Yeah. Well,
You've got to have his mate help you.
we'll talk about it. Nah, license. Yeah.
His licensed mate's going to help him.
Yeah, we'll be fine. Just joking. All right, cool. So that's my presentation. Thank you very much. We're just gonna skip that, and then let me quickly introduce the Lightning. So Lightning Energy. Can we maybe leave the question to the end after the Lightning's presented? If that's all right. Yeah, so I know I did answer some questions, but I just want to maybe introduce the Lightning team and then maybe summarize everything together, if that's okay, because potentially Lightning has got some answers for you already in the presentation. So quickly introducing the Lightning team. The Lightning Energy team has been our premium installer in Victoria for a while. So it's really hard to get a premium tag. So it means long-term relationship with Tesla, a high quality of installation, a high level of trust and communication between Lightning and Tesla. So we only have a few in the state. So we're very, very happy to have Lightning be here with us, and I'm going to introduce Kyle and Blake to do their presentation. Thank you very much. Yep.
Cool, no worries. All right, thanks guys. It's been a good turnout tonight. We really do appreciate you guys coming down here. As Harry said, it's a bit of a mission to get down here later on the middle of the week sort of thing. So firstly, my name's Cale, this is Blake. We're going to just dive into a quick presentation tonight. And then as I said, once we get through it all, we'll have some questions at the end and then break off. There's a bunch of Lightning Energy members around at the moment. So if anyone's got Lightning, please put your hand up, because you can go have a chat to them after the presentation is done.
So again, on behalf of Lightning and Tesla, thanks for everyone coming here. And I presume after talking about this wonderful product behind us, we've got a lot of questions about federal rebates. It is something that's relatively straightforward, but there's a lot of information about it, so it can be quite overwhelming. Obviously, came into effect on July 1st, so it's quite recent, and there's a lot of chatter about this. The rates that we're looking at here, we're looking at $2.3 billion of funding, and that's set to be exhausted approximately 2030, but whether it runs out earlier or not, we'll touch on that a little bit later. And on average, it's looking at about a 30% decrease in the cost of installing a home battery for all of you guys. And again, aiming for about 1 million battery installs residentially throughout the country by 2030 at that point.
And one quick thing that we had a bit of a look at was obviously seeing that it was a $2.3 billion influx with these STCs. On average, most sort of battery, or how much is actually being allocated per battery, is about $6,000 per rebate. So if you have a look at $6,000 across $2.3 billion, that really only works out to be about 380,000 rebates, which sounds like a lot, but across the nation, that's not too many people, right? So look, it is a battery forecast across 2026, which is sort of looking around about 200,000 batteries. But one thing that we were a little bit worried about, that was projected for 2030, could it potentially run out a little bit sooner? We're not too sure. And if we actually, there's another slide in here that will talk about how much the rebate amount actually drops over time.
So obviously there's a lot of objectives with this moving into place. So for a long time there's been a lot of interest, particularly in solar. Now there's a lot of systems in the country, especially in Victoria, where people have solar set up and they might be exporting a lot of energy to the grid at different times of the day. And it's obviously not for a lot in some cases. So batteries are something that a lot of people have been looking into. Sometimes there's a bit of a financial barrier there for some. And with the way our infrastructure is looking, there's some nice incentives now to look at storing that energy and using it. Now, again, some of the main objectives here we're looking at are boosting renewable targets in the state, so encouraging people to store the energy as opposed to getting it from fossil fuel sources. Easing the cost of living, of course. So over time, we don't know what's going to happen to the price of electricity, up, down, or in circles. If anyone could predict it, we would. So again, we see a lot of people taking up batteries now to sort of ease that at the minute. Another thing, of course, too, is enhancing your energy security. So there's plenty of scenarios where you might produce, say, 50 or 60 kilowatt hours of electricity in a day, and you mightn't have anything left for the evening. So having a battery is a great way of capitalising on that excess energy and using it when you're actually going to be in need of that power.
And also another one as well that I thought was really interesting is as far as expanding jobs in the renewable sector, especially young apprentices that are looking to get a job, but it also improves the supplier industry. And just overall, the general renewable sector is something that is obviously a growing space. So when you are looking at buying a battery and that you are putting in some money into the industry, it is obviously supporting some jobs across Australia as well. So the guys already sort of spoke about this a little bit more in regards to the DC expansion pack as well. So again, talking about if your Tesla Powerwall 3 plus a DC expansion pack, 27 kilowatt hours, potentially up to $9,288 worth of rebate, which I believe the maths is good there. We good, fellas? Yeah, cool. All right. So this is the slide that I was going to mention before, just in regards to how the battery dollar amount is going to decrease per year. I don't know if anyone's ever had solar before and actually had STCs on their solar quotes. STCs have always decreased over once we move into the calendar year. So as we can sort of see for 2026, the projection is that we were $344 per kilowatt hour this year, but then it could potentially be moving into the $312. And I don't know if many people can read it up the back there, but potentially all the way down to 2030, if it does make it that far, it could be looking at about $173 per kilowatt hour. So it'll slowly decrease over time. So something to keep in mind.
Does the 50 stay the same?
What's that, sorry?
Does the 50 kilowatt max stay the same?
Yes, it does, yeah.
So obviously there's a pretty wide range of eligibility for the program. It's a pretty widely encouraged thing. So eligible groups at the moment are including homeowners, small businesses, community facilities. There's no means testing as well, which is a great thing. So irrespective of your income, the value of the property, things we've seen before in Solar Victoria incentives and other programs, it's a little bit more lax, so it's more accessible for everyone. Again, main requirements are that it's either paired with an existing solar system. So if you've got a system that's 5 years old, 10 years old, 2 years old, you put it in last week, it doesn't matter, or that it's installed alongside an existing system. So if you're thinking of doing the whole kit and caboodle at once, it's a good way to start there. Another requirement too is the battery that you're fitting is compatible with a virtual power plant. It doesn't mean you have to participate in a virtual power plant, but you have that functionality there. That's one of the requirements. All right, and obviously when we're looking at why jump on this, just touching on what Kale said before, with the amount of people that are expected to take up this program, and especially what we're seeing at the moment, we're not confident that these figures are going to stay the same for the longest period of time. We're projecting that this could run out in a handful of years, potentially before 2030. And obviously there's a lot of interest for people to jump in now and capitalise on that higher rebate incentive as it stands at $344 a kilowatt. Again, every calendar year that number does drop, as do the SDCs. Yeah, I can. Cheers. Go, Carl.
Cool. So this was actually from a case study for Luke's house, who he's always quite happy to share that he's got a $900 credit on his power bill, which must be nice, but it is really achievable as well. And especially if people are starting to consider some larger battery storage. So just in this, what Luke's got at home is that he's got a 13 kilowatt solar array on the roof. He's got a solar edge inverter, Tesla Powerwall 2, and he's also got 2-story reverse cycle AC. Must be nice. And also one electric vehicle at home. Now, as I said, it's a $900 credit that he's got there on his power bill, but he has also looked into particular energy plans, which is something that we will touch on a little bit more as well. It is sort of really the cherry on top when you're looking into getting solar and battery, reducing your energy bill, and then also choosing the right plan. So in this one, for example, Luke has chosen OVO, which they do actually give you a free window of power during the middle of the day. And what you can also do with your energy storage solutions is actually schedule charge from the grid. So if it's a window during the middle of the day, free grid electricity, it's winter time, there's less solar PV available. It is a way that you can offset and charge up your battery just a little bit easier. And his last payable bill was 2 years ago. Go Luke. So this is AC coupling and DC coupling that we're going to talk about. Just a show of hands, who's actually got solar at home already? Solar plus battery? Nothing at all. Cool, all right, no worries. So basically AC coupling is where you do already have a solar array at home, and then you do look at installing the Tesla Powerwall 3, which is both a DC and AC coupled battery. So obviously anyone can really look at one of these systems. And then with DC coupling is when you're starting from fresh, where you've got no solar on the roof, you just connect your panels directly into the Tesla Powerwall 3 battery. And this is about Amber. I'll let Blake take that away.
Yeah, of course. So touching again on virtual power plants, everyone's across virtual power plants here. There's a few hands I saw at the start. Essentially, virtual power plants are something a lot of people are looking into, again, to offset those costs and to supplement the grid. It is something that can help with the return on your battery. Everyone's case by case, it can be a little bit different. And again, all batteries that participate, particularly Powerwall 3 and anything else on the market, has to be VPP compatible to be able to claim these rebates. Amber's a great example where you can actually trade wholesale electricity prices with your battery. So rather than paying or being paid or credited a fixed amount back for everything that you feed to the grid, you can actually take advantage of real-time wholesale electricity prices as they fluctuate. I believe it's a 5 or 15-minute interval. So obviously in the morning, when electricity potentially is an average cost, there might be a lot of people charging or discharging their batteries. In the evening, relative when there's not a lot of solar, because there's no sun in the sky, the spot price for electricity generally, I say generally, will increase. So that's when you'll see people discharging their batteries. So it is something you can look into if you wanted to potentially speed up your return a little bit, or just participate in something new.
Cool.
Okay, because that's what I'm interested in. My usage is this big.
Yep.
And my solar goes that much.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, I haven't paid a bill for the last 3 bills.
Beautiful. Yep.
But I want to get a battery, and can I store that, and can I sell that back to them?
Absolutely.
Because I
Absolutely.
get a
Yep.
huge gas bill. You're going to sell it back to $10. So I can sell it back at a dearer price than they're giving me, is that right?
Yeah, correct. So,
You're going to give me 1.5 cents.
for feeding credit.
And they're going to charge me 30 or 50. So I can sell that back more than my 1.5 cents.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the whole idea of it. So a lot of the times you'll be exporting with Amber during those peak demands when the need for renewables is much higher.
Yeah.
And you also got to think in
Look at it. I use this much, and I put in that much. If you look at the graph, I use this much.
Yeah.
Next to it.
Yeah. All right. So I suppose this is just us thanking Tesla a little bit more, and also just pointing out as well that, you know, when you are choosing a battery overall, you really do need to think about the credibility of that battery and where it's going to be in the market. You know, there are plenty of options that are really coming into the market right now. Some of them newer than others. That's where we've seen the reputability of Tesla be really at its highest point. This is something that Luke loves to talk about with market cap in the financial world. As you can see, there's no other solar and battery brands included there. So the security around Tesla as a company to be able to support the battery, but then even just the support from Tesla Australia in general is fantastic. So it's not really something that we see too much with some other batteries out there in the market, whereas these guys have always really been there for their customers and us as installers as well. Ceramic fuses. Does anyone have this? You're not shamed, but does anyone have one of these boards? Yeah. Okay, so it's time to upgrade. Especially from a safety and compliance point of view, this is something that we're finding pop up quite a lot. Even with some systems that do have a circuit board, there are some other requirements that we need as solar and battery installers. But obviously coming back with your ceramic fuses, they just need to be upgraded. It is more of a safety concern. I don't know if many people can see it up the back there, but you can see this fuse is actually blown out and has caused a fire to a lesser degree, which is something that is obviously pretty scary when we talk about anything solar or battery related. And a lot of the times those problems are really resonated with the switchboard, right? So what we're really leaning everyone to do is to move towards upgrading their switchboards, considering moving towards circuit breakers that actually are individually protected. We do have a group of lists and requirements inside the switchboard, particularly for solar and battery installs. So I could waffle on and bore you about that. But if you do have a switchboard and you are interested in talking about solar and batteries, come have a chat to any of the reps here or anyone that's in the sales and design team. Show us photos of your switchboard because it is really important from a safety perspective. And cool. So the last thing that we've got here is just talking about our offer for today with Tesla Powerwall 3. So at the moment, we've got a Tesla Powerwall 3 13.5 kilowatt retrofit from $16,500 with your $4,644 rebate, with a $500 discount would bring you down to the upfront cost of $11,356. Do come and have a chat to us about it because again, we want to see switchboards, understand cable runs, all those sort of good things. But then also as well, you've got the opportunity, once approved, with the DC expansion packs, which shouldn't be too much longer, from a $29,000 installation with a $9,280 rebate with a $1,000 discount on top of it. So you're sort of looking at around that $18,000 mark.
So the 11,700 installed.
Installed, correct.